my name is MJ. For all the Euler people from back home, everybody know me as Mike Jack. From Arkansas, Marianna, Arkansas to be exact. And I am currently the West Coast Director of Promotion and Lifestyle Marketing for Def Jam Recordings, Republic Records, and some other companies as well. So yeah, that's what I do. And I live in Los Angeles right now too, by the way.
Okay, yeah, all right. Come on, Los Angeles. I know it's what's the. Oof, I don't know if I could live out there.
Yeah, it took a lot of getting used to. It took a lot of getting used to, but I've been out here for I moved out here in 2016, so I've been out here for almost 8 years, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I've been out here almost 8 years.
Wow.
That
Okay.
is crazy. I had an uncle stayed in Cali. But we're gonna go ahead and pop into the next question, MJ. Who inspired you the most in the music industry and overall in life?
My dad. Yeah, my dad was a local club DJ when I was growing up. I was raised by my dad solely. Yeah, local club DJ, the most passionate person that about music that I've ever known. I mean, he loved music so much that he even named me after two musical legends, Michael Jackson, which is my original name, and which is my name, and Keith, which is short for Keith Sweat. So that is like that. So yeah, my dad, man, he was a DJ. He sold mixtapes out of his house. Every hood got that guy that sold the DVDs and CDs. That was my dad.
Bootleg
So
man.
yeah, the bootleg man. But when he was
Yeah.
so listen, so passionate, so dedicated to his craft, like literally woke up before the sun was up and worked until the sun was down, and he was so passionate about music, man. So his passion obviously rubbed off on me, which obviously as a kid growing up wanted to be like my dad, but also wanted to carve my own lane. Just took a love for music, and I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life on the biggest level, which was getting into the music business. And so with that, I just kind of took his passion, and I learned about the great music executives before me, the Diddy's, the Dame Dashes, the LA Reeds and all those guys, and was like, yo, I think I can do that. And I've been in the music business for about 6 years now. So yeah, 2017 to about 6 years.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
You said that your dad he inspired you. I do know that he's no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
If your dad was here today, what would you like? What do you think he would say, knowing that his son is working for one of the biggest labels in the world? Because I know my
That's
folks would
right.
Yes.
be too happy.
Yeah. I think about that all the time. He will be ecstatic because we always talked about this. Our relationship, obviously it was father and son, but he was also like my best friend. But our passion was the music. Like he would always ask me to like, yo, listen to this album, listen to this song. So like we always came together from the music, right? But if he was here today, I think he wouldn't even believe half of the things that I've been able to do, projects and artists and stuff that I've been able to work on. I mean, I don't even believe in myself, but I know he would be proud of me because he told me before he passed that he was proud of me for what I had done, and I told him what I was going to do. And so I think he would have just been ecstatic because I did everything I told him I was going to do before he passed.
Mm,
Oh, that's dope, man. Cause
that's
me, I
Yeah.
come
beautiful.
from a little background of music. My uncle inspired me. He played the
Mm-hmm.
guitar, piano, and then my
Mm-hmm.
grandfather played the trumpet in the band at Langston, I believe it was. Yeah,
Like,
college.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so I always came from that. Played a little guitar, piano, and choir. Back in the day, in the school days, you making music in the closet. I was that guy back in the garage band days and stuff like that.
Oh
Coming
man, the
in the
garage
pro.
band days. Oh
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I remember. I
all that
remember those
old
days.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
and I
most definitely.
really and I really think that music, like B said, he comes from a musical background. I do also. My sister is actually getting her doctorates in music. She's a black female band director. All of my family members they
Ooh.
play instruments. I grew up singing in there. So music is such a huge part of our culture. When you live in
Yeah.
little bitty towns like we come from, all you got is music. You know,
Mm.
so with that being said, we dream about working with big people and going places, and you're living that dream. What was your first big project that you worked on, and who was it with?
The first big project I worked on, uh, hmm. So I started off as an intern in 2017. I was with Atlantic Records as an intern in 2017, and when I was an intern, a lot of the projects that I worked on was Ed Sheeran, who was obviously really popping at that time, and Bruno Mars.
Wow.
Those were the first two, like as an intern, projects I was kind of like working on from an intern standpoint. And then well, obviously that was from an intern standpoint, but I would like to say my very first big project I got a chance to work on, where I had an idea and I saw the artist actually use the idea, was Omarion, from obviously B2K. I
Come
had
on.
an idea that, yeah, 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 yeah. So I had an idea. He had an album that was supposed to come out called Reasons. The album actually didn't come out, but he had an album that was coming out called Reasons, and I came up with his hashtag called Reasons to Dance, because Omarion liked to dance, and he
Yeah.
actually used that. He actually used that hashtag, and that was in 2017. Now here's a full circle moment. I ran into Omarion. He didn't know me at the time. I was an intern, so he didn't know who I was. But I ran into him last year at an event that he was doing, and I told him that story, and I showed him the marketing deck that I had wrote up. And he was just like, he was floored. He was like, bro, I needed you to work for me at that time. So that was like the cool thing. So I would say, as an intern, the very first big project I always say was Omarion, who I got a chance to work with.
Was that around the time he did the infamous dance?
No, this is not.
No.
No, this is pre. This is around the time of supposed. I think supposed to be was the single, with Janae
Okay.
Eco.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was around that
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's dope. That's dope, man.
Mm.
Did you ever get to meet Bruno and them?
No, I never got a chance to meet Bruno. I never got a chance to meet Ed Sheeran. But like I said, a lot of their projects was more like intern admin type of things. Like I worked on like they tours, and I was sending CDs out to radio stations for them. So like it was more so from an intern standpoint. That's why I said like Omarion was the first project like I had an idea that was actually used versus like doing the admin stuff for the artist.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I got you, man. I
Do you
got you.
ever get like
Definitely.
a celebrity shock where you like, oh my God, like I cannot believe I'm working with them? Because I know I would
Uh
be my country self.
no, that's when I got a chance to work with my favorite artist, Kanye.
What?
When
That's
I
We
one of
when
my
all
I
love Mr.
favorites.
West. We love us some Mr.
yeah,
West, baby.
when I met Kanye, that was out of every artist, and I've met some big celebrities. I met some legends, some goats, and hip hop and R&B. But I think the day that I met Kanye, was like that was like the oh shit moment. I was like, yo, I never, because anybody that knows me knowing like I was the biggest Kanye fan since College Dropout. Like that was
I had
like
all his
I
my
think that
albums.
was all of us because I was.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm talking
Wake
through the
up, Mr.
good, through the
West, Mr. West,
bad.
Mr. Fresh.
Yeah, through the good, through the bad. I was always team Kanye no matter what. And so when I got a chance to meet him and I shook his hand and I introduced myself, I was like, I couldn't even speak. Like everybody was introducing
Yes.
themselves. I was like, yo, Kanye, I forgot my name. Like you remember in SpongeBob, when SpongeBob was Squidward told SpongeBob just forget everything about fine dining,
Yeah.
and he like and dude asked him what's your name and he couldn't think of his name. That was me. I was like,
Starstruck.
yeah, I was not.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
Starstruck.
only time. That is the only time I was starstruck nervous. That's the only time. After that, everybody I met after that was real cool. I met LL Cool J. I met DMX. I met Kendrick Lamar. I met 2 Chainz, Jeezy. I mean, so many greats. But the Kanye one, that's the one that just had me. I couldn't even speak. So yeah, I gotta give it to Kanye.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
my boy DMX.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
met
the one
DMX.
that's the what up?
Yeah, yeah. I met DMX when he did the versus battle with Snoop Dogg. I was there. I
Oh
was there
yeah.
when he did
Oh
when
yeah,
him and
that was
when
epic.
him Yeah, with him and Snoop Dogg, I was there that day. And if you go to my Instagram, I have a picture with DMX. And so that was really dope. But yeah, I've been very blessed to meet some legends in music. I mean, oh man, it's so many to name. It's so many to name.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a blessing.
Well, that leads to the
Yeah.
next question though, because your
Uh,
reaction with Kanye, how was your reaction when you knew you was gonna be doing this type of work?
Um, you remember that movie, Pursuit of Happiness, when old boy had got the job? Yeah, that's exactly how I
Come
felt.
on now,
Like,
blessings.
yeah, because it had, when I first moved to LA, and like I said, I have a book coming out. I'm hoping to drop it this year, but I do have a book that I'm dropping, and then I tell the entire story, right? Because I get asked all the time, like, yo, how did you this and that and the third? Because some people would think like I moved to LA, I got the job at Def Jam, and then that was it. But there was a time period, like it took 2 years, right? And in that 2 year time period, you kind of go through the struggles, ups and downs, and like I said, I lost my dad in those 2 years, and my grandma. So like those 2 years was kind of mercury. But the that moment that I got hired at Def Jam was that Pursuit of Happiness moment because I was on the verge of giving up. It
Mm.
was right there. It was literally because I had was going through some things, and I'm interviewing at every record company. I mean, almost every record company in LA, I was having an interview almost every week. Right? I was getting told no, no. I probably got told no maybe like more than 15 to 20 times. Right? So at that point, you started to be like, oh man, I don't know if this is for me. Right? And I was already kind of making plans to move back, and I was okay with it because I was like, well, I tried.
They can't
And
fault you for
then
trying.
yeah, and then when I got the call, when I had the interview at Def Jam, I just knew it. Like I had the interview, I knew that I got it. And then, a couple weeks later when they called me and told me they wanted to hire me, I was just like, yo, I was working at the mailroom at the Grammys. I was working at the mailroom at the Grammys at the time. I was in the mailroom, and I remember that we had just got some new printers, and they was having a meeting about these printers. And I got the call. I said, "Yo, I'm going right back and come back to the printers." I get the call. I get the job. I come back, and they was like, "Do anybody got any questions?" I said, "No, I ain't got no questions, but this is my last day at the job, uh, so I might not need this information." And they was like, "What?" And I was just like, "Yeah, moving on to bigger and better things." And
Bye.
I literally quit that day. I literally quit. But they were so great to me. I said, look, I'll give you guys another week and I help you find somebody and go through that whole thing. But yeah, I quit that day. I didn't take notes. I didn't even sign no paperwork. I was like, yo, I quit that day.
You know the crazy part is though,
Mm-hmm.
you worked in the mailroom for the Grammys. You was an intern at Atlantic.
That's enough
Yeah.
right
It's
there.
that if you
Yeah.
that is mind blowing alone
You
in
winning.
itself. Like you
Yeah.
was winning from the gates. People.
Yeah.
We live in small towns. We hoping
Mm.
Boosie or somebody come down. And we love them. Like,
Yeah.
but the fact that you was able to do that is
Yeah. It
crazy.
was a step by
Like
step process. It was a step by step process.
that is amazing, bro. I definitely
So
gotta give
that
you a flowers on that.
facts, and like I said, I remember when you first moved, Mike, and I was just like, go for it. I love to see my people doing well for themselves. I don't care if they say, man, I'm about to start selling oranges on the side of the street. Hey, I'm gonna buy 3 oranges for you. So I always was rooting for you. I'm always
I
continue rooting for
appreciate it.
you. So all that excitement and the moving and grooving and meeting people kind of get us, it kind of goes into our little wild question. I came up with
Mm.
this because I like to throw people out there to kind of shock them.
Okay.
I know you see all these beautiful women and all these women probably like, oh, he handsome, he
Uh-huh.
country. Who
Uh,
is your celebrity crush right now, or who's your celebrity crush period
of all time? Or
of
just
all time?
celebrity crush of all time?
And have you met
Uh
her?
um That's an interesting question. Have I ever had like I was a big like I used to I'm a '90s baby, so like Megan Good and Nia Long was always like my celebrity crushes
Some
coming up.
baddies.
Like I used to like Nia Long and Megan Good was like those two for me. Um I would say yeah, Nia Long and Megan Good. Those were like the two like celebrity crushes that I had coming up. And I mean, yeah, yeah, Nia Long, Megan Good. You know, everybody, obviously, like everybody loved Beyonce in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, Rihanna, that's it, Rihanna. Yeah, that's it, that's the one, Rihanna. Yeah, that's like as far as celebrity crushes, like that's number one for me is Rihanna. That's it.
Have you met her yet?
I have not met Rihanna, but I
Oh
was very
boy,
fortunate. I was very fortunate. I was very
boy,
fortunate to work on one of her last single, "Lift Me Up," that
boy.
was on the Wakanda Forever soundtrack. I worked on that project. Actually, that is the biggest promotional campaign in music history. If you look that record up, it is the most added song in music history. It is her biggest, highest charting debut, and I was a part of that project. But
That's
yeah,
right.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. But Rihanna, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Wow.
You
You
know
met Kelly
what?
Rowland?
I would have probably just lost my mind even just being a part of her album. Like I would
Mm.
be like, don't talk to me. I worked on Rihanna album. Thank you very much. Please
It was
go
no, it
away.
was no, it was that was just a single. That was just a single. Now, when an album do come, it'll probably be more intense than that was because that's obviously like a huge priority. But when we had
Yeah.
that record
People are
and we
waiting
knew it
for
was
that.
coming out,
Yeah.
it was like it was all hands on deck. A lot of it was we worked throughout the weekend, everything. We had to deliver on that.
Dang.
Now, this is a question off the track here. I gotta ask.
Go
Have
ahead.
you met my should have been wife Kelly Rowland?
Nah, I never met Kelly Rowland before. I still gotta watch the movie
Cash.
Mia Khalifa. What's the guy called Mia Khalifa? I still gotta watch
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
nah,
yeah,
On
yeah, yeah.
Netflix,
nah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
still ain't watched it either.
You know,
yeah, but
I'm
nah.
a woman, but I think Kelly is beautiful. She is so beautiful. Her, Jill
That's my
Scott,
baby.
like, oh my
Mm,
gosh,
My
Jasmine
baby.
Sullivan, like they
mm.
are so
Oh, that's
gorgeous
my.
to me.
Have you met her?
Jasmine Sullivan? Nah,
Her
Yeah.
nah.
or Jasmine Sullivan?
I haven't met her or Jasmine Sullivan. I can tell you as far as like just R&B, just women in music. I've met. I can go. You know, I met SZA. I met SZA before SZA was SZA, right? And it was so funny because my friend and I hate that I didn't do. I didn't know who she was at the time.
How
Right.
A friend of mine introduced me. He was like, "Yo, this is SZA, blah blah blah." He's like, "Do you want to?" He's like, "Don't introduce you to SZA." He said, "You want a picture?" I was like, "Nah, I'm cool." And I literally regret not taking that picture with her because I didn't know who she was. I thought she was just an up. This is like 2017, right? And I think she was still new. I was like, I'm cool. I don't need a picture with SZA. That's one that I do regret. But I met SZA. I met Janae Eco.
Oh, I love
Uh,
her. We have
I
the same
met
birthday.
yeah, I met her a couple times. Who else is I guess is obviously
Mike Mills?
we obviously work with Coco Jones. That's one of our artists.
Yeah.
Money Long is one of our artists as well. So I've obviously met them. Uh,
Twins
yeah, which is
When
that's gonna
have
be
you been?
yeah, and like
nobody
I said, I'm working on
come.
that project now, and we're looking to go number one
That's
in a week or so.
crazy,
Yeah, I'm working on that
yo.
project now.
Y'all, he is helping with the one of the number one TikTok trends right now. Cause everybody twin right now. He done
Yeah.
met my future wife, Scissor. Mike, you gotta hook me up with Scissor for real.
Absolutely
I
not.
need it. Connect me. Drake
Listen,
gonna beat
and
me
this
out.
is
Drake got
and
more
this is
money than me.
this is 2017. I got you. I don't think she's probably hard to get to now. She's probably hard to get to now.
That's
Yeah, he
crazy.
gave
Like, I knew that you were out here grinding, but when I tell you that I have chills just hearing about the people and the things that you're doing,
Mm,
you just give me so much hope. You're such a
mm,
blessing to other people that you don't even know that you're inspiring.
mm.
Just to pause in this, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an
I appreciate
amazing
it.
job. And you know what? You meet people for a reason. I'm glad that we crossed paths back in the day. Like I said,
Mm.
y'all, he met me when I was juicy. When I was real wild. When
Yeah.
I was out there, so
I
you
remember the
know,
day we actually. I remember the actual day we met. I remember the actual day we met. It was me, you, K. What's her name? KK.
Kendra, I know you're talking about
Yeah,
Kendra. Yeah.
pounds, and this was like the first. This was my. I think this was my first day of college, and I was just meeting people. This was in East Hall. I was just meeting people, and I remember we all were just sitting in the room, and I was just like, "Oh man, like I got college friends now." Cause I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." But yeah, I remember that. I remember that day.
If you wasn't
That's
in East Hall, you wasn't
crazy.
nowhere. Me and my roommates, we called 20 Club 207. That was the room to jump. We rolled dice. We threw parties. We was drinking on Tuesday. Like I said, that was back in our heydays. We all adults and saved now. But,
Yeah,
like I said, I never met a stranger. And that's what, my parents always taught me, treat everybody nice and, make everybody feel
Nice.
comfortable. But like I said, you just inspiring people. That I'm just so happy for you. But,
I appreciate it.
Boy,
yeah, that's
you
good.
putting on for
I'm happy.
Arkansas. You
Stand
putting
up
on
for
for Arkansas for
Arkansas.
I
real.
I
For
appreciate it.
real. That is crazy to me, man. I
It's
ain't even
Yeah.
gonna
crazy.
lie to you. I ain't wow. This is wow. we got to lock in, Mike, man. We got to
Yeah, yeah,
lock
man.
in.
Yeah, man. Let's lock
Yeah, we
in,
got to
bro.
lock in, boy. But that's gonna bring here go the next tough question for you. I got a good tough one.
Hmm.
Now, we always debating about who the greatest rapper of all time. You got Tupac, my personal, I say Biggie, but then we got Lil Wayne. People along the lines of that. And so, even though it's hard to pick one, even three,
Hmm.
who's your top five though?
Top five, in order. I even be like top
Okay.
five, not in order. No, like top five in order. Um, uh, Hove, Kanye, Lil Wayne,
Okay.
Nas. Five is always tricky to me. Um,
Yeah,
Cause I mean, there's like you said, there's Pop, Big, there's Cole, there's Kendrick, there's Drake.
yeah,
For
it's
me,
tough.
this is a personal five, and this is like who I feel like is a name that don't get mentioned a lot. But Lupe Fiasco,
Oh
I,
my
I,
God,
I respect
yes.
it,
that. I
yeah.
respect that. I
I
can
respect
definitely
that.
respect
Yes,
that.
Lupe
Th-
is
Most definitely.
amazing.
Listen,
Yeah, people don't give him enough credit.
they don't give Lupe enough credit,
Enough,
man.
not
They
enough.
don't.
From food and liquor, the cool lasers. I mean,
What?
food and liquor too. Like that man could. Oh man, like yeah, Lupe
Bit for
is
real.
He
yeah,
the original
Lupe.
black skateboard boy. He is like
Yeah,
him
yeah,
and Pharrell. Like
Oh
yeah,
none of the
yeah,
black kids were
yeah.
comfortable with doing the skateboarding until them
yeah,
two. I remember that era.
Real
yeah.
stuff, cause Pharrell and them inspired. I used to skateboard too. I done did a lot of stuff, y'all.
Okay.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, like they inspired me to skateboard. Like Pharrell, Kanye. They probably my favorite producers slash rappers, and I'll even
Mm,
throw Diddy in there too, cause I I just come from that background. I like the producer side of it. But
mm,
Juice, who would be your top five?
Woo, my top five. I'm an old school rap type of girl. You
hmm.
know, y'all know I love me some UGK. I love Bun B and Pimp C.
Man,
Juicy. That was
Listen,
I was thinking Pimp C in my five. I was thinking Pimp C. I love Pimp C. I love Pimp C.
in my mind, I'm Chad Butler. In my mind, I'm Chad Butler from Slanging Rocks to Pimpin'
uh,
Pause. That's who I am.
let me tell you.
Let me tell you, I was listening to it
smoke
today when I
some.
was driving. I was like, yeah, I'm gripping the brain and this and that. I'm like,
Uh,
you're none of that, Jaleesa. But I can
Now
give you
y'all
like
see
my
why I
top
call her
three.
thug.
There, I can give you like my top three because I listen to everything. Like I said, I love me some Project Pat. I love Project Pat. People
mhm.
be like Project Pat, but you got to understand, y'all, I'm from Southwest Arkansas. My uncle used to cut hair, and he would bump all of that. So that Project Pat tar, get up. I was like, this is
Yeah.
my song.
Mister Don't
Yeah,
Play. Mister Don't Play is a classic
he
album.
and
That
I
Hey,
Glorilla
dope.
Pimp,
that's
Chicken Head.
Yeah.
those
That is a. I always say that is a. Mister Don't
Bust
Play is a
for the
classic hip hop
Cadillac.
album.
Oh
classic.
yeah.
Also Young Dolph, he was one of my favorite artists. I
Oh,
love him. I actually
RP my
remember the
boy.
day he got killed. I was so sad.
oh.
I cried.
And who else? Like I grew up listening to a lot of Outkast. Outkast kind of gave me that it's okay to be kind of weird feel, because Outkast was different. But
Alien.
that
Yeah.
I remember watching the Players Ball, all across the world.
Well,
So I remember that song, watching it on TV as a little kid. Because that's what BET. I think everybody had Channel 24 for BET and stuff. And I remember watching it, and my uncle he like, yeah, man, this hit, and I'm like, who sings this song? I'm a little kid. But like I said previously in the conversation, I come from a musical background, so it's kind of hard. But I tell you this: the first female rapper I ever heard rap, and that kind of gave me my little, I'm Juicy J type, feeling was Mia X. Mia X.
Wow.
I
Mia
heard
X.
her rap, and she had her
That's different.
updo done, and she had
Uh-huh.
the
The
camouflage.
biggest
I'm
Mama
like,
Mia.
there you
Yeah.
go. The biggest.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I like her. And my uncle was like, that's Mia X. So yeah, I would, she's not like my top rapper, but I just love her whole little flow and just how she was. But yeah, I most definitely am a big Houston down south type of music person. What about you, B? Who's some of your top artists?
See, I'm a little backwards because my friends make fun of me about it. I like the East Coast. I ain't gonna lie. Once I first heard Biggie, so I'm gonna give Biggie my number one spot off top.
Mhm.
Biggie just, for one, I'm a big dude, and then Biggie, the way he spit, just lyrical and stuff,
Saucy.
his bars
Saucy.
are well, just
Mhm.
Smooth with the tools.
all that, yeah,
Mhm.
man. Biggie was just dope, man. And then I'm gonna go Wale because I like the poetic flow he has. Because Wale is
Facts.
probably one of my favorite rappers ever and stuff.
Mhm.
So it's too. It's that's tough. I'm a big MMG fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm big on that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm rocking with Ross and Meek and them like that. So I'm gonna say
Mhm.
Meek on the tough spitting, and then J Cole, of course. I rock with J Cole. I think more than I do Drake and Kendrick. And then I'm gonna give one all Young Dolph because I'm a big Memphis fan, and so
Okay.
because my dad and stuff stay in Memphis, so I grew up in Memphis part two. So even though
Mhm.
Gotti was the first rapper I ever listened to for real, back when he was throwing his birthday bashes real tough in the beginning, that's when I
Yeah.
first ran across real rap like that, and that was like Yo Gotti
Mhm.
for sure. But Dolph, that Blue Magic mixtape, man, I'll forever
Mhm.
have them memories with that mixtape. So I'm gonna have to go with Dolph.
Long
You
live
know,
Dolph.
I totally forgot about these two guys, y'all, because they were my first concert I ever went to. Since this is a music episode, I forgot about Dunn Trip. I forgot about Dunn Trip.
Oh,
Yo.
Him and
oh,
Charlito. And let
yo,
me tell
Yo.
y'all, shout out to
yes,
James Kane.
yes,
Kane, me and Kane had a class together at
man.
Euler, and he got me tickets, y'all. And my eyes was big as day. I used to have a little silver cobalt, and I drove and I went to go see them. And y'all, I was just like, the way they're
I
done
take
should be
away
coming out
Meek.
from album to album, from just mixtape after mixtape. That man need a award. He trying to pay rent, and
I
I'm into
swap.
it.
I swap Meek for Don. Cause I do listen to hella Don Trip.
Yeah.
They
Yo.
cold.
Yo. Funny
I'm
story.
30 years old and
I saw Don Trip 2 weeks ago in
I
oh for
love.
Memphis.
real? Wow.
In Memphis, I ran into him because he was driving like a blue. I want to say it was a blue Lamborghini. I think he was driving. Uh, and I'm at the stoplight. It's random. I'm at the stoplight and I look over, and it's Don Trip, and I was just like, he's like, yo, I was like, nigga, he Don Trip. Like,
He
yeah,
just
That's
that,
regular.
crazy.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
no, not
yeah.
no, not no blue Lamborghini, you not, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun.
no.
Yeah, you ain't too regular.
They some of the most humblest rappers. Cause you know just about what they spit about or used
Yeah,
to. Cause now they whole lane to change. They actual family men,
yeah.
and I think
They
they the
are.
most humble
That
in the
Step Brothers
rap game.
project. That
That's
Step Brothers
yeah.
project was classic. That Step Brothers project was classic.
It
Caesar and
was. What is
Brutus,
it called? Caesars and
hard. Yeah, Caesar and
that's
Brutus, that's hard.
y'all.
Yeah,
When I tell
Forever
you that
legendary.
I can rap that, man, I be like, I'm a real trap hustler.
Yeah,
You feel me?
yeah, yeah,
they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
ahead of their time. They were really ahead of their time.
they were.
Facts.
They if they would have came out maybe 5 years late, like they were ahead of their time.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't get enough credit.
Yeah,
They
they
Them
don't.
don't.
as a whole or even
Yeah,
separately. It's like it's like they're still underground, but yet they're above the surface. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
hmm
And just their artistry is fucking amazing, bro.
yeah,
Like Caesar and Brutus for one, the wordplay, the storytelling, everything in that is
The video was off the chain
crazy.
itself
The
too.
video hard too, the visuals hard,
yeah.
everything. And every time I rap it, I talk like Lito when he sleep. With me, laid out.
And
But
that
me,
kind of brings us into our next question. Also, you talked about how Dunn Trip, how he's a family man, and they're very humbled. I'm sure they had goals they set out. What is your biggest goal as a just a boy from Arkansas, small town in Arkansas, what is your biggest goal in your career right now?
To be president.
Come on now. Speak it into existence. Guys don't
Not
make
the not
God
the
don't
not
make no
the not the
mistakes.
not the United States, not the United States, but
You might with
president.
USDA just like
Hey,
Jesus. What you mean?
President of Def Jam has always been my goal. I've said that for so many years that I want to be president of Def
Hey,
Jam. So
What do you
if you
feel
get
like that
there, you
you
gotta come back. If you
I
get
got
there,
for
you
you.
gotta
real?
come back.
Don't forget
You come
about
back to
us.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like if that when that does happen? Because we like to speak things in existence on this
No, it will happen.
podcast.
It will happen.
When it does happen, what
Damn
do
right.
you feel like that you're gonna bring? Like, what's one of the biggest things that you want to bring to that company?
Um, if you know the history of Def Jam, it's always been a culture company. Like it's
It has
always been, historically, it wasn't just the music and the artists. It was a lifestyle brand. It was a
been.
brand that, from video games to poetry slams to comedy shows, you
Yeah,
Man.
it
know,
does.
Yeah.
the Def Jam
Every avenue.
jacket is, the Def Jam jacket is so iconic. The biggest thing that I want to do is to make that brand as bigger than it's ever been, right? So with that, I mean more cross brand partnerships. I always have this thing, doing a Def Jam Adidas collab, doing a Def Jam, Jordan collab, doing like I just want to take the brand that means a lot to the hip hop culture and just embed it in so many different avenues. Which obviously in return obviously present a lot of new artists and legacy artists with that. I'm a big lifestyle activation guy, so I have so many ideas that I be wanting to do. But yeah, that's the very first thing is doing a lot of big cross branding with the brand.
And that's very popular nowadays. That's the
It
way a
is.
lot of companies are
Yeah,
like blowing up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Most
So going
definitely.
going into going into technology, going into fashion,
Yeah.
going into just all these different avenues. Because I feel like that's what made Def Jam special. That logo was is so special and it means a lot to the culture that it's like I want this logo to be as big as it's ever been. That would be my first goal for year one.
Yeah, I believe you could do it, man. Cause boy, I
Yeah,
am
You already making it happen.
impressed.
yeah,
Like it's crazy. You don't even know what you done did, man. Like that's a crazy walk of life. Like,
yeah.
and
It
just
is.
think
Wait,
about it.
wait till you
Yeah,
read the book. Yeah, wait till you read the book. You're like, oh shit! Like a lot of this is, and then the book comes out, and then
yeah.
the documentary that I have that I'm sitting on, is probably going to come out around the time I do become president. So that's like the idea behind it.
Make sure
I
you
like
autograph
that.
my book.
He
Make sure you
gotta
I
autograph
put
my
that
got
book.
you.
right
Make
there,
sure
Listen,
you
man.
autograph it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do a
me
signing.
too.
I'm gonna do a signing. I'm gonna do a signing. But yeah, the book I'm hoping to come out in November. I'm almost done writing it, so I'm almost done with the first draft of it. So I'm hoping to get it out in the fall.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
already. Now you talked about how big of a scale you want to make it, and I know this has been a conversation before within hip hop. The state is in. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, what was it? Nobody had a number one album or a number one hit single besides what probably Gunna,
Hmm.
and Lord knows how long because just the state we're in. So, what is it that you feel music in general is missing right now for our culture?
Um, I always said last year was probably the worst year in hip hop history, which was the
Yeah,
50th
yeah,
year, so that was kind of terrible.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just think what made hip hop special and what made us love it, I feel like, was the diversity and the different flavors that you had. I've always
Yeah.
said, and people have like, oh man, like the 2000s was the greatest decade in hip hop to
It
me,
was. It
right?
was.
And it
Nelly
wasn't.
just talked about that.
Yeah, and that I reposted that, and I told everybody, I
Yeah,
said, you see, because it was so much variety, right? I feel like the '90s, you had two things: you had East Coast music and West Coast music, and all
yeah,
that shit sounded the same. East
right,
Coast
right.
music sounded like East Coast, West Coast music sounded like West Coast, right? And
Yeah,
then you bring the South into the mix, late '90s, early 2000s, right? But
yeah,
even in the South, Outkast, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, UGK, A-Ball and MJG, all of this is in the South. Sounds all different flavors, right? This is,
yeah,
and then you bring in, people got to remember too, like, Then the stanky leg and all that shit. That's like late 2000s.
It
You
is.
know, Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
I always say, look, people hated on Soldier. I said, yo, Soldier Boy is a legend and an icon because he took what Bow Wow did and tried to do to another level, right?
He
Level.
For
He
did.
did.
young adolescents, right? And I get crucified for that. Like, so I'm like, yo, Soldier Boy is a goat. He was ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time. So to answer your question, I just think bringing back the variety in music, like everybody needs to do what they're great at and good at, instead of just trying to sound like the same, right? And I will say this: I feel like this first quarter of music, this is March, is already better than last year,
That's
right?
good.
I agree.
Because
I
the
agree.
21 Savage album is
Yeah, that I was
amazing,
just finna
right?
say.
The
That's
Yeah,
fine.
Kanye Ty yeah, the Kanye Ty Dolla Sign album is amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Future Metro Boomin said they dropping 2 albums, right?
Yup.
J. Cole is teasing an album later this year, at some
Yep.
point. I mean, who knows? Drake obviously probably is going to drop
Probably.
an
Yeah.
album, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully we get a Kendrick album. I think this is probably going to be probably one of the best years in hip hop in a very long time, maybe since the baby Roddy Rich Little Baby time, which was like 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came out swinging. We
Yeah,
had.
only thing with that,
I.
I
Yeah.
hate that it didn't last longer. That's
Last.
the only
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Facts. Facts. No, I agree with you. Kind of music nowadays, man. I think we're heading more up north now. Cause Detroit is becoming the new trend. The
No,
flow
no.
of it.
Listen. It's so glad you say that because when what's the dude name? You want to boss up your life? You gotta do is get in with me.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
those, like
Gotta get
I
it
heard
with
that.
me.
Yeah, I heard that at a party, and I'm like, yo, like niggas is rapping. Like, I'm like, yo, this nigga is yo, and oh my god, I forgot. Big X the plug. Yo,
Yeah,
Oh,
this dude,
off
he's
the
my favorite rapper
chain.
right now. He's my favorite rapper right now. He's my
My
favorite new
yeah.
rapper right now.
yeah,
Big
yeah,
X the
yeah.
plug is so dope. Like, yo, we are listen, I'm telling you, I think it's man, I can talk about this all day, but yeah, Big X the plug is so fucking fire.
It's
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
old
I like
school
it.
beats and music that he
They
used.
say
When
I've
I
been
tell
popping my
you,
shit. Yeah,
when I'm trying to get ready to go to
them
work, I'm
samples.
playing him
Yeah,
because his flow. My homeboy from Mississippi put me on. He's like, man, this dude from down the street to live. I'm like, who is this? And then his voice just carries. I'm like, he doing some rap. He trying
And
to
he's
make it.
spitting, and
He
he's
trying to
spitting.
yeah.
make it.
Bars on me.
That
We were
nigga so
chilling at my
hard,
partner house, and he put me on. I was like, damn, I kind of like this nigga.
He
Man, he
all
man.
right.
hard.
He
Yeah.
he on
It's
the he on the verge. He's on the verge of being one of those. All he needs is this
yeah,
one record that's going to take off across
To
the
go off, yeah.
board. He already got the
yeah.
music. He already got the catalog. He just need one hit record, like one instant hit. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's a new. He bringing in a new era.
You ain't lying. You is not
Yeah.
lying about
No.
that.
So we're talking about culture music. We just talked about Big X the plug, and we all think he going off and stuff. Like I said, I'm always in my head. I'm so just animated and stuff like that. What is your theme song for your life growing up, and what is your theme song now?
You'll love this, Juicy. I think you'll love this. My
Okay.
theme song in my life. I always say this. I say on the day of my funeral, when they carry me out of the casket, you gotta play Lil Troy. I want to be a baller. That is my theme song in my
Remember
entire
the
life.
video?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is my favorite song of all time.
It is.
Yeah, Lil Troy, I want to be baller is the theme song to my entire life.
I
You
never
know them
would have
boys at
left.
Mayo
All right,
Furniture.
I'm out of sight. I'm
He's
thrown. Come
No,
I'm
on
gone. Man, that used to be our theme song at Mayo Furniture, boy. When we get ready to clock out, wanna be a baller.
now.
that is my theme song in life. Is Lil Troy, I want to be a baller. I said when they carry me out of that casket, all I want to hear is that little intro when they talking. Want to be a baller. I said you
Yeah,
gotta
The
carry me out of that. You
holla,
gotta carry me out
yeah.
there.
on me.
B,
You
what's
gotta have
your
that
theme
box and
song?
holler pull up.
So, B, what would be your theme song in life? Because he's so out of control. I'm just afraid what he about to say, honestly, MJ.
That's a good damn question. Ooh, that's so tough because I would have to look at my catalog. I really don't know. That
Wow.
is a real good question. 'Cause I love so much. Like if I had to,
Mm.
like R&B wise, Probably some Avant or Joe. I'm gonna say Joe.
He's such a silk
Joe.
shirt wearing ass
Yeah.
nigga. Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
Them
Not
niggas,
Joe.
them niggas raised me. I had the album. I was a young nigga. You know, back when we had the colorful boom box that matched the colorful landline we had in our room and shit. Yeah, I
Mm.
was bumping them niggas every day I got off school in the mirror thinking about my school crush. Like,
What's wrong with you? Oh my god.
hey, I'm a lover boy just like Drake. I just ain't certified yet. That's it.
I think my theme song would have to be Mystical Here I Go. Like when I tell you that song, give me hype, and I want people to know, hey, this is me. This is what you see is what you get. You either
Yeah.
gonna like it or you gonna hate it. Cause if you hate it, kiss my ass. Cause I'm here to
Yes.
stay, baby. So and
Yeah.
Mystical, even though his other stuff that he got going on,
Mm.
Mystical was just in your face. Like I just love with him and Master P and all them bro. Just
Here I
real
come.
loud
Here
country,
I go.
gold in their mouth,
Yeah.
lyrical.
Oh.
I love it. Like, my friends always tell me, you like them old country men and stuff like that. I think it's
That's what's
because I
up.
grew up listening to the Bun B's and the Chad and the Master P's and Mystical. So Here I Go by Mystical would be my theme song. That's my
Do you
jam.
know?
Even the Cash Doll one where she rapped over the beat, that's my song too.
Do you know the words of Mystical? Cause I understand shit he was saying, but he was like,
Absolutely not. I would be a genius if I did, but the
Help the
chorus
bell.
to it is enough for me.
only
Hey,
mystical line,
I'm
only
still
mystical line
smoking
I ever
weed.
know, only mystical line I ever know was I come in with my dick in my hand. that's
Yeah, 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 yeah.
all I, that's
I
the
know
only
my
mystical
theme
lyrics
song
I
now.
need.
What's
What's
I
your
know
that?
my
theme
theme
song,
song.
B?
It's gonna be Biggie warnings. Who the
Facts.
fuck
Ooh.
is this paging me at
Five
5:46
forty
in the
six in the
Okay,
morning?
I
morning,
like that. I
crack of
like that.
Crack of
dawning. Now I'm
dawn and
yawning
I'm yawning. Wipe the coal out my
on my
eyes. Man,
eye. See
I
who's
like
this
that.
paging me and why. It was nigga
why?
pop from the barber
The
shop. Told me
barber
he was in
shop
the gambling spot. Heard the
and
intricate
heard the
why.
equal.
You want to see me like
You want
fly
to see
paper neighbor?
people?
Slow down, love.
Hey,
He just off the caper.
Okay, come
Remember
on,
hey,
them niggas
feature
from the
rap
jail?
stars.
Brownsville, yeah.
Yeah, I was
They
like, that's
got
so funny.
nice whips. Man.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
like
Hey, that's my
that.
shit. I forever love that. All
Okay.
right, then that get us right to the next question, and that is how big was the culture shock for you? Like once
Oh,
you first moved, like coming from small Arkansas
mhm.
to ain't nothing but a gangster party, all
Oh
the way
man,
up there to California, man.
it was a huge culture shock. I talk about it in the book, but I drove to LA. I drove from Arkansas to LA. Took me 3 days. I drove. When I got here, you see the park. I had been to LA before, on a camp at a camp, but when I came, I was like, man, like I just saw. It's funny I talk about this, but I said, man, it's a lot of white people here drinking this little cup with this little green sticker on it. And I'm like, I just like they look so happy. I'm like, all these white people with this white cup and this green sticker. I just want to be happy. That cup was a Starbucks cup. I had never heard of Starbucks or had never seen Starbucks, right? And I drink it almost every
Yeah,
day now. So it's just like when I got here, I was like, yo, everybody looked so happy. Everybody looked like they had money, and I was like hella broke. And I was just like, wow, like I thought I had messed up. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh shit, I think I fucked up.
how you
Cause it
been
was like,
feeling?
yeah, I felt like I'm like, yo, like this is such a different thing. And then obviously, like, once I meet people, like I am very country. I am still very southern in my language. I still don't know how to pronounce a lot of words correctly. Um, I am a Pacific instead of how you ever actually say it.
Yeah,
Uh, I
yeah.
do say street. I do say street with a C and not a T. But that kind of helped because I stood out, you know. And but yeah, it was a huge culture shock because everybody here looks like they come from money and have life going on, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm a broke kid from little old Marianna, Arkansas, and I'm trying to achieve something that might be out of my realm, but obviously it wasn't. So yeah,
That's crazy. It sure wasn't, brother. Cause you duh. You duh.
mm,
That's crazy. You went from Oakwood to Palm Trees. That's what you did.
yeah, dirt country
That's
roads,
crazy.
all that shit, bro.
What? That is
I lived on a
crazy.
farm. I lived on a farm when I was like 5 years old.
So when you
That's
come back to
crazy.
Arkansas, do you ever be like, okay, I'm ready to go back to California? This y'all too country down here, baby. Okay.
It's actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite. When I'm in LA, I do miss Arkansas. When I was there a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, it felt like home. It was just something about this might sound really fucked up. It was something about seeing cotton rows and
Lord
like
Jesus.
like flies and dirt, and it was just like, yo, this is what I've known for 18 years of my life. This is all I ever known, right?
Yeah.
It felt like home. I love when I go back. I love going to the Waffle House. That's the first place I go to.
Come on.
Uh,
Man,
Gotta
I
love
love,
Waffle House.
yeah,
that's why
like
I'm
I
going in
love,
the morning.
yeah, like I love, I love going to the Waffle House. I love, going to Sonic because ain't no Sonic in Southern California. So it's like, yeah, there's no Sonic in Southern California.
Look at me. Hey,
So
look at me and big ass. We like,
We
wait
like,
a minute, what?
like nigga,
Where you get
what?
them
there is
slushies from?
there is no Sonic in
What they
Southern
got?
California.
They got
So
flatbread and shit up there.
they got
They
like
got
they got like In and Out is real big out here.
And they
Uh,
nasty.
yeah, I don't, it's
I only
cool,
had
but
In and Out one.
yeah, but it's something about just being around things that I'm familiar with. Because I always say like LA is like a fantasy land. Like
It
I'm
is.
here and I deal with it and I do what I do because of the industry that I'm in. But being home is who I really am.
Yeah,
At the core of the core of who I am as a person. Like the MJ is a character, right? But it's an extension of Michael who loved music growing up. But MJ is just an evolution, an evolved version of that.
right,
But yeah,
right.
I love when I'm in home. I try to stay as long as I am. Now I don't stay longer than a week. So maybe if I stay longer than a week, I'll probably be like, nah, I don't want to be.
I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah.
Well, it been
So
raining
you,
down here, brother. You want this?
yeah. So you talked about, the culture shock and how you still be like, man, I miss home and but I'm grateful to be here. And I asked you this at the beginning before we started and people were getting on. What type of advice? Because you don't went off, baby. You doing the damn thing.
I
What
appreciate it.
type of advice would you give somebody, like me and B, are
Mm.
trying to get into the music business or trying to get into the type of business that you're doing? What type of advice would you give them?
I got a
I
wicked
always
queen.
I feel you. I always say people would like it sounds cliche, and I talk about this in the book as well. It's like you have to start locally,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
Everyone wants to shoot
Facts.
for the Universals, the Def Jams, the Sonys, the Warners, the Spotify's. Everybody in the world is shooting for that. Before you get there, I feel like you have to build up those blocks. Before Def Jam, before the Grammys, before Atlantic, I was an intern at Power 92 Jams in Little Rock, right?
Okay. Yeah. I
Trey
remember.
Day gave me my very first internship. I forever love that man. He gave me my very first internship 10 years ago, right? At that radio station in Little Rock, right? And so
Okay.
that was me starting locally, right? So I always say, like, if you are in Texas and there's management teams, there's agencies, there's firms, there's venues, there's clubs, like all of that is where you start and build those relationships and you build those experiences, right? And never, there should never be a job too big, right?
Right.
Like when I was interning, like I did everything from putting up posters, whatever they asked me to do. Like that was my whole thing, like as an intern, right? Whatever they asked me to do, I got the coffee, I got the lunch, like I did all of that. And when I became an assistant at Def Jam, I did all the same things. Whatever they asked me to do, I would go do it. Right. I have my ex boss used to have this thing that says do your MJ thing. Right. What he meant by that was whatever the task was, I made it happen, right? Like whatever impossible thing that they couldn't figure out, they said, "Oh, MJ can figure it out," right? And it was like a switch. Like I turn on and I would, I like to like, y'all can make it happen. But the best advice is starting locally and building from there. And then you never know who you will meet. You never know who you will meet because if you and as I talk about it in the book, me getting the Power 92 Jams, that internship allowed me to get other internships in Little Rock, right? So I interned at Signal Media, which is a sports radio station in Little Rock.
Yeah.
After that helped me get my internship at iHeart in Little Rock on Colonel Glenn, right? The old Metroplex.
I know
I
what you're talking
interned
about.
there. I interned there. There, I talk about it in the book. But there is when I met someone that worked at Atlantic Records. She was a promo rep, which is what I do now. She worked at Atlantic Records, right? A white lady named Allison. I have never met her in my life, but we exchanged contacts through somebody at the radio station. And she was the one that kind of inspired me. Was like, yo, if you want to do this, you should move to LA or you move to New York, right? This is in 2016. 2017, I ended up interning in a department that she worked in at Atlantic Records.
Wow.
So that whole Atlantic Records thing started in Little Rock. It didn't start when I came. That whole lineage started back in Little Rock, right?
It is.
So yeah, it starts locally. It starts on the
Yeah,
ground up. Like, cause
that's
you
it.
never know who you'll meet and who they know. And they be like, yo, my guy B, he does this and that and the third. We should bring him here. Yo, my girl J, like, she does this and that and the third. Like, we should bring her through. Like, you just never know. It's such a small industry. That is exactly every opportunity came from me meeting someone and they helped me connect to the next opportunity.
Right.
There's a whole lineage that goes back. Even me getting my job at Def Jam, that came because I was working at the Grammys in the mailroom. A guy who I used to deliver mail to named Lynn Brown, who oversaw the hip hop and R&B category at the Grammys. I told him, I said, "Yo, I'm looking at this job or whatever at Def Jam." He said, "Oh, I know the guy that's hiring," and that's how I ended up getting the job because he knew who my boss was at the time, right?
Rubbing
That's
elbows.
Yeah, and this is a guy that
crazy.
I just deliver mail to. Every time I deliver mail, we talk music. That's all it was. You just never know. So I always say start locally and build your relationships from the ground up.
So,
Right. Most
another question,
definitely, man.
because, I know people that are very close to me, very dear to me, that
Mm.
I know are really great artists, and
Mm.
they can get very discouraged at times. What would you tell someone? They're like, dang, because I was like that when I was in broadcast. I went to school for broadcast journalism, and I was like, I don't know if this for me, and I got into the medical field. But at the end of the day, I do feel like this is my calling. What would you tell someone that's completely discouraged in the music and in the music industry? What would you tell them?
If it's what you love, you just do it. Like I feel like
Yeah.
so many people, to get to this level. I'm 30 years old, but this journey started when I was 5 years old, right? With my dad.
Man.
They started at 5 years old. When he was DJing, I was helping him carry his crates and help him with the mixes and all that stuff, right? This is a 25-year run.
Yeah.
But I never thought when I was doing it that I was going to do this. I had no idea. I'll talk about it in the book. I got to keep throwing that in there.
Come on
But
now.
I didn't,
Oh, promote.
when I was a
Promotion.
kid, I wanted to be a wrestler. That was my dream. My dream was to be a WWE superstar. I wanted to be like Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. That was my dream. That was what I wanted to do. And then I fell in love with music. And with that, I was like, oh, I wanted to be a rapper, right? Which is the book is based off of me wanting to be a rapper and getting this job at Def Jam. So that was kind of how it all started. It was just something that I loved to do, and I wanted to do it for the rest of my life. That's all it was. So if you love it, don't do it for the money. Do it for the love and the
You
passion.
love
And if
it.
you're really good at it, if you're really great at it, then you'll figure out a way to make money for it. I have a friend of mine that's a singer. Her name is Cecily, who's from where I'm from, and
Wilbur,
she's
the
not.
soul singer.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. She's
love
a
me
great.
some
Yeah,
her. She knows she can
yeah.
sing.
Cecily Wilborn is amazing, and I've known her since I was a kid. And she's not a signed artist, but all she do is perform. All she do is sing and
Yep.
perform, right? So don't be like, oh, I'm going to be the Beyonces and the Jay Z's. Like,
Yeah.
start where you at, and if you love it, just continue to build on it, right? And you will know if it's for you. Like you would know. Like I put it to you like this. I had those questions too. Like, is this for me? Is this something I want to do? And then God would show me little things and like, all right, this is for me, right? When I met the lady at Atlantic Records, I was like, okay, this is for me. Like this is for a reason. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That confirmation, man. Man, I can get with you. I got a nice pen. I can do a
I'm not
little
an A&R.
thing.
I'm not an A&R, but I
No,
check it
that's
out.
cool.
I'm
That's
not
cool.
an A&R.
I know. That's cool. Like you said, we just need to rub elbows.
And
Hey, here we go.
just what you saying that and stuff again, I feel like Arkansas have so much talent, and it's
They
not
do.
all about a shoot you in your head. This we have a lot of different other artists that
Oh yeah.
do different other type of music, and I feel like they're
Mhm.
not getting recognized because You know, that's not they're not talking about what people are used to hearing, or people are talking about, people talk about the shooting, the having sex, the bad bitches. But then, you
Yeah,
got people talking about being in love. You got other rappers that's talking about, man, I'm writing poetry and stuff like that. Shout out to my cousin Langston. Like, that is
I was
that's what he
just gonna
do.
say.
And I tell him all the time, I'm like, Bo, I'm not saying this because you my cousin, because if not, I would say you suck, bro. But you are really talented and you got to believe in yourself. And just talking to you tonight, you just I hope when people watch it, they be like, dang, man, he gave me that push. I'll be like, man, maybe I do need to get out there and get it. So it's
Yeah.
just thank you. Just thank you because you have
No, I
did
And
so
appreciate
much
it.
tonight.
and I want to
Yeah.
say this. Shout out to everybody that's making music. With the
Facts.
Terry Cherry, my boy Bang. Grew up making music with him. My boy Moon, my boy Dirty.
Yep.
Shout
Shout out
out to
to Moon. Shout
Smoothie,
out to Moon.
Wood Dog.
Mhm.
All y'all keep doing what y'all doing. It's a lot of
Mhm.
creative people out of Arkansas. And as you can see with the proof in the pudding, you can
Mhm.
make it out of Arkansas with
Yeah,
the
man.
music.
Yeah, man. Like I said, music is a passion, man. Don't I think sometimes we grow up. I talk about this in the book. Sometimes we all grow up like wanting to be these big superstars. And it's like, yo, at the end of the day, man, we just make music because we love it. We just involved with it.
Yeah.
Facts,
And so, if
facts.
it's what you love and enjoy, don't think. I talk to rappers all the time and artists all the time. They're like, man, how can I'm like, yo, don't think about a record deal right now. Like a record deal is gonna come to you if it's meant to be, right? You don't need a record deal to be successful.
You
You
don't.
don't. Record your music, put out your music. Those who like it will listen to it. Those who don't like it won't listen to it. When I go to the store, I like Honey Nut Cheerios, right? I ain't got nothing against Captain Crunch and I ain't got nothing against Frosted Flakes, but I like Honey Nut Cheerios, right?
Facts.
And so I always say the music industry, I always say music is like a grocery store, right? People go in and they get what they like, right? And the people who don't like it, you just leave it on the shelf. Every now and then, right? I might try an all berries Captain Crunch. I like the packaging. This looks kind of cool. I might give it a try. Give Honey Nut Cheerios a rest, right? I might give it a try, right? So I always say this: music is a grocery store, right? All you got to do is build your product, put it on the shelf. Those who like it will come get it. Those who don't will leave it. And you never know. You might find people who, listen. I discover music. I discover new music every single day, right? I discover new music, new artists every single day from social media, from just hearing people play stuff. I got put on the Big Extra Plug late last year, right? Through a
Yeah,
friend of
he
mine.
be
He was
uploading
all
anything.
he did was I was riding with him and he just kept playing it. And I'm like, yo, this nigga hard. I went home, I downloaded the album. I was like, yo, this nigga's hard. And there you go. He just came out like not too long ago. So you just
Yeah.
never really know. Like, and that's for local artists too. I don't care if you sign or not. I don't. If the music is good, I like it. I like it.
Right. That's how I
Shout
am.
out to my cousin Skya because she gonna kill me too. She make good music too. Disha N as well. Well, I
And
can't too much. She
I
make.
think it's I think as far as me and B and we call it the Arcletics, the SWARK, we come. It's just like music all down through there. Like I said, he come from a music background. I do. Just I think everybody started out in church. Or everybody started out in the lunchroom with the pencils, busting beats. I used to try to freestyle back in junior high, but that's another story for another
Hey,
time.
hey,
You
Yeah,
on
know,
me.
and so I just think it's so much talent in Arkansas. Not saying that it's only talent in Arkansas, but
yeah.
I just think it's time for us to need to start getting out there. And we got
You
social
heard
media,
it,
so
man.
social media can make anything happen.
For
Social
happen,
media.
man.
I mean, you gotta look at it like Glorilla is from Memphis.
That's it.
That's right next
Yeah,
door.
Glow. Yeah.
Bankroll Freddie. I mean,
Freddie,
whatever.
yeah.
I mean, he's from 15 minutes from where I live. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying? Yeah, like I mean, what's the dude in that YTB Fats?
Yeah.
I actually tell people I did an interview not too long ago. We was talking about the Arkansas music scene. I said, man, the Arkansas music scene is bigger than it's ever been
Yep. And it is.
because of Bankroll Freddie, YTB Fats. What's the guy? Malcolm, who was on The Voice.
Oh
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
know
Malcolm
you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
Royal
yeah,
Yeah.
Royal
yeah,
Max.
yeah,
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 yeah.
Royal. Who was on The Voice? I mean, we talked about Cecily Wilborn. I mean, there's been so what's the two kid? ZHD.
Oh, the
Uh,
little dancing boys. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They
So
super big now. They huge.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, it's so many great, amazing artists that's come out, and it's just the beginning. But I mean, it's reality. Like everyone wants to do music. I mean, it's not that's a thing. So you can't, I always say it like this. I found my lane within the music. I just love music. I wanted to be a rapper too. Uh, Speaking of which, I
Facts.
forgot to tell the name of the book. The name of the book is called "Rapping Ain't for Everybody." That's the name of the book. I really love it.
I love that.
Uh,
Definitely.
That's
yeah,
real. Yeah,
yeah,
I like
That's
that.
but
real
I
talk.
like that.
but hey, as funny as that title is, it's all about finding your passion. And it's all about finding your
Facts.
purpose and finding your passion, right? I found that rapping wasn't for me, but I found out what was. So
There
yeah,
you go.
Man,
yeah.
You
man.
know, Mike, you have been such a amazing guest. When you make it big, have me and B come out and host some parties and stuff. Cause I think we can rock the crowd. What you think, B? I
We
think
could
we
be the
got what
next. We
it
could be
takes.
the next AJ and Free.
Come
They
on
I
just
can
don't
now.
see
know it
that.
You know,
yet.
I'm here for it. So
Yes. Listen, what y'all need to do is get y'all a nice little set, right? Get y'all a nice
Yo,
little set. Have a nice little people come through. Y'all get a physical set. I'll pull up. Uh, JDE. Go by Juicy. We know you as Juicy. I'm gonna call you Juicy.
no, listen,
yeah,
Ju-
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
Juicy is the
I
Uh,
brand. Juicy is the brand. That's the brand.
tell her.
This
listen.
name, this name is this
I
name is too long. This name is too long. I
Y'all,
don't like it.
listen. So I told MJ, I was like, I'm trying to get out of Juicy. I've literally had that name since the 8th grade. Shout out to Track Sale. He gave me that name, y'all, picking on me, and Juicy just stuck with me. And I was like, I can't go into the public world and folks calling me Juicy. They gonna think I'm a
Oh yeah.
stripper. But since I
Damn.
done heard it from the goat mouth, I might just have
That's
to
a
go with
brand.
Juicy,
What you
y'all.
You
mean?
Yeah,
Juicy. Everybody know
You juke,
Juicy. If you went to
man.
you
ev-
Juicy.
everybody know Juicy. B, you got any closing words for everybody, anybody?
I just want to say, everybody, thanks for watching. I know I've been
That was
over here
amazing.
coughing. Excuse me for that. MJ, man, boy, hey, keep doing your thing, man.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed this episode. A lot of
Mhm.
mouth dropping, everything
Mhm.
phenomenal stuff.
Mhm.
Yo, I give you your flowers. Keep doing what you're doing,
Appreciate
black
it.
man. Keep doing it, man.
Appreciate it. And I end on this. Keep God first, most importantly, throughout it all. I don't care. None of this is possible without God. I don't care what nobody says. None of this is
Facts.
possible without God. Every time I wanted to quit, God allowed me to keep going. So most importantly, keep God first. Secondly, the book is coming out this fall. Rapping ain't for everybody.
Cop
So
that.
yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all go
Y'all
cop
make
that
sure
because I'm gonna
y'all
get
cop
mine.
that book on
Yeah.
me. We're gonna send us the link and we gonna drop it everywhere we can.
Most
Gotcha. I
definitely.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No
All
problem,
right.
no
Well, thank
problem.
y'all for being with us tonight, and that ends tonight's show. Y'all have a blessed night.
Everybody be safe this weekend. Holla at y'all.
All
Peace.
right.
We out.